Hello, and welcome to the Graceless Living podcast with me, John.
And me, Jess.
Hello, and yes, welcome to the second episode of the Graceless Living podcast. I'm John, and I've got with me...
Jess.
Hello. And this is our little podcast we've started, episode 2 now, where we talk about things we've read, watched, eaten, written, thought about, achieved, squandered, and laughed at.
Yes, we do.
For those who don't know, I'm John. I'm 29 from Cheshire, and I'm a chemical engineer by trade. But outside of work, I'm a brass bander, cornet player. I like to take photographs, and I occasionally, if I can be bothered, write an occasional blog post on johnprobert.co.uk. And just a little fun fact about me, I'm fond of keeping analogue things alive in our digital world.
Oh, I'm going to have to probe you on that one.
So, go on, introduce yourself again, for those who've only started listening.
Yeah, so as we said, this is episode 2, and we're still very new to this, but I'm Jess, I'm 27, glad I remembered this time, originally from Northern Ireland, and I'm currently living in England. As a job, I work with children, but out of work, I like to write blog posts, recipes, do all sorts of things on gracelessliving.co.uk. I love to cross-stitch, I'm a little bit of a bookworm, and a fact about me, would you like a fact about me?
Yeah, I'd love one.
Yeah? I love hedgehogs.
Oh, who knew?
I know. There's no reason to it. It was just love at first sight. I can't explain it.
They are kind of sweet.
They are. They're very sweet.
Although they do suffer from that awful disease.
No, we're not going to talk about it. No, we're not talking about it. It makes me sad.
I know it does. Well, I've got to talk about it now because it's going to make everyone curious. It's called wobbly hedgehog syndrome, and I think it's akin to something like Parkinson's for hedgehogs.
So sad. Don't Google it; it'll make you cry.
I think it is it's a real thing. I'm just checking it out. It's a progressive degenerative neurological disease of African and European hedgehogs. Yeah.
Poor things.
Not very nice.
I'll make a hedgehog sanctuary. Take them all in. Anyway, back to episode 2. I have named this episode Quarantine Insanity.
And basically, I think we're just going to talk about the daily struggles of trying to not kill each other during our coronavirus outbreak.
We have come close.
To stay indoors.
Yeah.
Well,
every day's a struggle.
So, I think we just make clear we're not expressing our views on the lockdown restrictions here,
no,
or the actions of the government, or how it's going. We're just going to talk about how it's affecting us.
Yeah, how we're reacting and dealing with it in our everyday lives and how it's affected us personally, not anything else.
Rather than the original topic of this episode, which was exercise. So we'll put that one aside and just focus on this. Although I will talk about exercise if you'd like me to at some point.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
I have been doing quite a lot lately.
You've been putting me to shame.
First of all then, what has become important to you during this quarantine period?
Oh, I didn't realise how much I need other people's influence in my life, and I feel like I need to be an influence to others. So just even we've moved into a new house about 8 or 9 months ago, but we've had a few people move in the last couple of weeks, and not being able to knock on their door, see how they're doing, or put a little card through the door, or do something around the community, which is probably something I'd try and organise, has been something that I didn't know was going to be important to me, because normally I'm oh yeah, just say hi to the neighbours, put the bins out once in a while and do what we can to help, but I'm not we don't have that close-knit community, but I think that's actually quite important to me and something that after quarantine finishes I really want to work on. What about you? What's become important?
Much the same. I am appreciating that it's so important to keep good contact with your friends and your family, and it's not always easy, video calling and all the rest of it. It can be a bit trying, and connections can be bad, and you don't necessarily have things to talk about all the time.
No.
But, yeah.
And I don't know about you.
We're social beings, and we need to maintain that.
I don't know about you though, but I've also found video calling people, and specifically video, like I'm doing live streams for the children that I work with, and teaching the children I'm working with face to face, and that's been quite exhausting. Being online all day and doing it for a job, and then trying to use it and swap your head into, I'm going to just call my friends with it now, or my family. That's been really tricky.
We've all had to learn lots of skills quite quickly. I mean, so many of the older generation, I imagine, haven't a clue how to use video call, and have had to, either sit there on their Todd, not talking to anybody, or learn how to use it damn sharpish. So I've been using it as well. We never really use it at work to talk to each other, but we've had the onslaught of Microsoft Teams, which I now detest. The audio quality is dreadful, and it's just. I know the whole thing is under intense load on the internet right now, but they could do it so much better. But hey ho.
Yeah, you work with what you've got, don't you?
So, have you been doing anything? Well, I know you have, but tell me about things you've been doing to keep yourself sane.
Oh, to keep myself sane. So, I've been trying to do something creative or plan things that might be creative. I've had quite a few lazy days because I'm currently on an Easter break. So I'm very, very fortunate in that I don't have to work. Well, I say I don't have to work. I'm doing lots of planning and pre-recorded videos and editing and things like that on this end. But I don't have to do my live streams at the minute. So I've finally got that time to hone down on actually what's going to keep me sane over quarantine. And that seems to be cross-stitching, doing something or planning things creative. Like Easter has been really big. I want to still make a big fuss of Easter and do some things for that. And just writing letters to friends and cards to friends, and doing things like little crafts. I've done little button crafts and things like that. And
you bought me one.
I did, yeah. Which one did I buy you?
You got me, so that what they are, they're like these buttoonies, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They call themselves. And you basically, in a little packet, you get a bit of string and about 10 or 12 buttons and a couple of bits of felt. And you make a little animal that you can, it's silly but to do as a almost 30-year-old. But it's nice. It does keep you sane. It takes your mind off work. And it allows you to re-separate from it, because it's very easy just to sit in the kitchen doing my work, and then I'm sat in the kitchen eating my tea, and the two sort of overlap. So I make sure to like put all my laptop and work stuff all away, and it's gone. I'm now in home mode, and otherwise you just don't stop. Like my colleagues have told me that they just don't stop, and they're always thinking about work, even in the evenings, because the laptop's right there.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not healthy, and it's so important to keep your brain active and on other things, and giving your brain a little bit of break from the stress and anxiety that's just going on as a little constant level underneath.
Yeah, just stop reading the news.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, get the key things in. Make sure you're kept up to date with all the new information. Other than that, steer clear as well. Not my opinion, but what we've been doing.
Yeah. So other things, I've been taking photographs. I'm quite into photography anyway. I don't claim to be very good, but I like to do it.
I'll do it for you. I claim that he's very good. You just go have a look at my website. Half of those photos are your photos, and I think they're excellent. Or else I wouldn't use them. So I'm claiming it for you. Very good at photography. Carry on.
But I've there's those those shots that I've wanted to try, or they take ages to set up, or you have to go to a special place, or have a day out just to get one shot, or sit there in a field for 3 hours to get one shot of a particular bird or insect that you just don't have the time for, or you have somebody with you, so you can't expect them to sit there with you for that long. So because I'm confined to the house, I've done some macro shots that I've recently that I've found some time to do. I don't know why it came to me, but I wanted to do some. I think I've seen it somewhere way in the past, but I just got a needle and I wanted to put all the colours of the rainbow through this needle and take a really close-up shot of the eye of the needle with all the colours going through and then joining together on the other side, much like Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album cover, if you've seen that.
Yes.
So I wanted to do that. So I went out and tried to rig it up and realised, okay, this is going to be quite difficult because you need to get all the angle of each thread going through the needle the same, otherwise it just looks, uneven and unprofessional. And so it took me, how long was I was out in the garage? About 3 hours, wasn't I?
Yeah, it took you hours.
But you go and have a see. The photos are on the website. I think it's going to be. Can you put it on the Pinterest page for this episode?
Absolutely. Will you just mention that website again, John, just so everyone knows where to go and find it?
Graceless Living Pinterest. Shameless plug. That one.
Not that one. I mean your website.
Oh, my website.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So I can stick them on there as well. Yeah, why not? Quarantine macro shots. I'll go and put a post up.
Good.
So I've also I made a little scrapbook. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I've been making. I've kept all my ticket stubs over the years from like concerts and big events I've been to or played at, and I've kept them in a drawer. And eventually, now I found the time to stick them all in a nice book and write a few lines of text about each one. So and the dates and stuff. So it's nice to look back on. But I'm glad I've got around to it because it's quite a nostalgia trip. Yeah,
and it's quite a hefty task. Like you took maybe like a better part of a day to get it all in and backtrack it all, but it looks stunning. And I'm going to be doing the same. I've ordered myself some books to do the same because it just looked like such a lovely idea. Will you put some photos of that on as well, John?
Yeah, maybe. I might have to blur some of the information out, but yeah, I can do.
There's one important thing though, John. That, this whole not killing each other thing that you don't help yourself with. Is you've just got a new toy, haven't you, John?
Might have got myself a new toy. It's a very Sheldon-esque toy.
It is a very Big Bang Theory Sheldon-esque toy. But
yes.
there's one thing that you've just really enjoyed doing with this toy, isn't there, John?
Yeah, I bought a label maker. I've reached that stage in my life now where it makes me happy. I feel kind of ashamed of myself.
No,
but also,
it's welcome to your 30s.
Yeah, also I don't care at all, and you can do what you can. No, it's a useful thing. I've been meaning to get one for a while, but it's just getting around to it. Thank you.
Yeah,
for that.
no worries. But the thing is that this evening I was like, I'll get us a little treat before we do the podcast, and I got us a little Alpro soy yogurt dessert thing, and little did I know, got them out of the packet, and on one of them there's a little label. It says Jess smells, haha. So it's definitely a adult thing, this label maker, isn't it, John?
Advanced humour for adults. Humor.
It's good though. Those are the kind of things that keep you sane during quarantine, because it is difficult being stuck in with someone, especially at this time where you're working in the kitchen and I'm around the house doing other things, but you're in the kitchen
Disney Plus.
Watching Disney Plus has been amazing. It's helped me so much. It's Disney therapy. Well, my point was like being around someone for 9 hours as they're working, and then they have to come and have a little bit of a break and break from things. It's important to do those little silly things, like putting a label on. It's funny, and it's something that just, gets you to relax a little bit more.
So what you're saying is I should carry on being cheeky.
No comment.
And mischievous. And
I don't know what I've put my foot in there now. Right, anyway. Exercising, John. Have you been exercising?
I have, yeah. Like I said earlier, I've been doing quite a bit because I've been signed up to this Race at Your Pace thing, which is a website for those who don't know. Go and have a look. But you can basically sign up and pay a tenner, and you can sign up to a certain total distance of running, cycling, walking for the month, and you get a medal at the end. But I've not been running that regularly at all before March. So for March, I decided to do 25 miles total, and I can safely say, as of today, which is Tuesday the 31st of March, I've done I've done about 48 kilometres, and I know that's over 25 miles. So excellent. So
well done, John. That is a feat as well. Like, you've been so... Yeah, well, next month you've got worse, but, like, taking just a minute there and be like, yeah, well done, because it's hard to keep something up like that, especially in this kind of...
It's been my refuge, to be honest. It's how I've been getting out of the house each day. If it wasn't for me running, I wouldn't leave the house, and I need to be outside. I get cabin fever if I'm locked inside too long. So next month, I've signed up for the 35 miles. That might be a stretch. I might struggle with that one, because that equates to about 3 5k runs a week, and that's a lot. That's a lot for me. But
yeah, you started this not even enjoying running, didn't you?
I never enjoy running. The thing with running, right, is it's purgatory to begin with, and then a couple of weeks later, it's still purgatory, and then a couple of weeks later, it's almost purgatory, and then eventually, about 6 weeks after you've started and consistently done it, it's average. It's okay. You can tolerate it. It's not.
Yeah, well, that's not everyone's experience. It's certainly not mine. But if you're someone that experiences that, this challenge has got to be even harder.
So it'd be good to get my 5k time down. I think I'm about 24 minutes for 5k at the moment. So hopefully can edge that down towards the 20-minute mark eventually. I went on the the Park Run website for the town in which we live, which I won't say, but the record for that is 15 minutes. That's insane. 5k in 15 minutes.
Boost.
Superhuman. That's another thing I've been doing. There's lots of things. Hobbies are good. Hobbies pay for themselves in times like this.
They do.
And then there's always television to fall back on then. So we have been we have been enjoying a lot of Disney because somebody bought Disney Plus.
I did, absolutely did, because if I'd have spoken to you about it, you'd be like, what do we need that for? And you know what? The night I got it, you were like, oh, well, there's this, oh, I can't believe that's on there. Oh, it's got all the oldies thing and all this and all that. And you were so excited. You spent half an hour to 40 minutes going through that, going, actually, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, yeah, well, duh.
Well, since it's only pay monthly, I suppose you can just get rid of it after a few months if you find yourself not watching it anymore.
Yeah, that's why I decided to do it, because I thought, don't pay for a year up front. I might not want it in a year.
Yeah, it's got every episode of The Simpsons, and even I've forgotten how good the early Simpsons episodes were. And back when the animation was dreadful, it doesn't even matter. They're so full of morals, kids jokes, but also the adults jokes that you never got at the time when I watched it on BBC Two at 6 o'clock when I was 10. It was it's great, really nostalgic to watch them.
Yeah, you've more of an affinity to the older ones than I do. I'm kind of like, every time you put one on, I'm like rolling my eyes, trying to do something else at the same time, because I like the later ones. I like it when the characters are a bit more developed, a bit more of their personality, and they do a bit more with the other characters like Milhouse and Nelson and all of those. I like the other characters' involvement rather than just the minute it's like the family and one character per show kind of thing. So that's why I like the further on seasons. But yeah, you've been enjoying that. So
you've been in heaven, haven't you? You've been.
I love it.
We watched. We did watch The Fox and the Hound, which was one of my childhood favorites. And definitely didn't cry.
Yeah, and I get to give you a Disney education because you just don't have the right Disney education. You didn't watch any of the princesses ones, and I'm like, I know, but like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and Pocahontas, and I've loved being in my little Disney bubble because it's where it makes me feel relaxed and happy, and it's just something I can have on the background that's just really lighthearted, and everybody is like, even when you're talking to your friends, I'm getting things like, how are you surviving the quarantine? What are you doing this? What are you doing that?
Disney
and
Plus.
it's yeah, Disney Plus. Get it on. Put on your favourite Disney film from when you were a kid and pretend like you've got no cares or worries in the world for an hour and a half. Take a breather. Get back to life. That is my cure at the minute. But what I want to know is, have you got any suggestions on what we could maybe do for the rest of the quarantine?
I think we should definitely make the most of the time. You do things you've always been meaning to do when, you know, you feel like you have no time to do, like crafts and stuff, you know, like, or puzzles, or read a big book, or, you know, learn to do something, learn a language or something
skill.
like that if you want. Yeah, definitely. Learn to code, whatever. I saw one suggestion, and is start your own blog or journal or something, even if you don't publish it or send it out to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, it could be quite a therapeutic thing to do.
But not just that, we're in the middle of a history making time. Like, if you had something that you could tell people later on down the line, you know, the next generation, I was alive when this happened and here's my thoughts for the time, that's actually quite valuable later on, and we don't realise that in this time is what we're feeling will soon fade, and it'll be a forgotten memory. It'll be like, oh, wish I had that time where I had 4 weeks off, do you remember that? And it'll go, and we'll sort of fantasize it in our heads, whereas actually it could be great to have that all written down in time and in the real.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
In the real, I like that phrase.
Have a virtual pub quiz. That's another one with your mates. Like, there's plenty of questions and answers on the internet. So download Zoom or House Party or FaceTime or whatever you want to use, and just have a bit of a pub quiz. That'll be quite good. I'm going to try that later this week, aren't we? Yes,
hopefully tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
So let's have a look at the internet. What do they say? And you know, like these 100 things to do in quarantine. Let's see how stupid they are. Complete a puzzle. Yeah, that's probably it's pretty standard. Start a blog. Yeah, we've talked about that one. It won't bother your neighbours. Dust off that old instrument and practice. Go on. What are you gonna do that? You gonna have a go on your piano?
On my piano.
Yeah.
I had considered it. And I considered it because I'm making some pre-recorded videos for work. I considered doing some nursery rhymes on the piano and things like that. I don't know, because for me, I'm always looking for something new, and I love the piano. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. Love playing it. Love the way it makes me feel. But at the moment, I've got a few other things in my head that are taking priority. And
you've got 1,001 things to do, you have.
Yeah, and I really do. And I think that's something I want to dedicate a lot of time and love and effort into. And I feel like it's not fair for me to do that if I've got my attention on so many other things. I don't want it to become a chore. I love it so much that I don't want it to become a chore.
How about this one? Text all your exes just in case you have one more thing you wanted to get off your chest.
Oh my god, it's the worst idea I have ever heard. Like,
and
you do that. 4. Do you know when you do that? When quarantine's really getting to you and you've got a lot of pent up, I don't know, you're ready for a fight basically. And that's when you do that. Because either you're going to get a message back like saying, who's this? I've deleted your number. Or they're gonna you're gonna break your heart all over again, or their heart all over again. It's not just about how you feel. You need to think about them on the other side. Please don't do that. Unless you want to get back together and you think that they're thinking the same. Then go and have a quarantine love.
Number 5, write poetry. There you go.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, writing in general. I think you should give it a try. You know what I'm like. Challenge. Do something new. Learn something new. If you don't think you're very good at it, why not give it a go? Nobody has to say it.
I'll be really bad at poetry.
No, add it on to the whole write a blog, write a journal, Write a song, write a story, write a poem. Why not?
Poetry is for singers who can't sing, you know.
You're going to offend a lot of people out there, and I'm going to leave that up to the comments, guys. You go ahead with that one.
Moving on, number 6. Watch a really long film. Yeah, that's quite a good one. Like
Shawshank.
Schindler's List or something.
Yeah. Great Escape is the one that we need to watch.
Oh, I can't believe you've not watched that. Sacrilege.
Right. Well, I mean, we explained that the classics and me need to have a really intimate relationship because we don't have one, right? In the last episode. So, we all know.
Treat yourself to a face mask and some skincare routines that you don't have time for during a normal working week.
Now, men out there, I suggested this to John
never.
For one of our hygge experiences. And John went...
greasy.
John went, no, why would I want to do that? I'll just get a shower and clean my face. And I'm like, you do that every day. And he's like,
exactly.
I was like, so what's a pumper evening? And he's like, I don't know. So men, what I want to know, my question to you is, how would you have a pamper evening? And is there anyone out there, brave enough men, to do a proper spa night?
It's not about brave. It's about not caring what your skin's like, you know.
That's
there are lots of men out there who do care what the skin's like.
And I think that is amazing.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I don't even look in the mirror before I go to work in the morning.
Yeah, no, you're just
I do have quarantine beard going on at the moment.
Oh God, yeah.
I do look like Bilbo Baggins.
You do look like Bilbo Baggins. You're right.
Try all of your clothes and determine whether they spark joy. Oh God, no.
Oh, that's the Marie Kondo. If I'm saying her name, Marie or Mary. I think it's Marie Kondo.
Yeah.
The sparking joy stuff. I actually watched that series on Netflix, and I think she's great. It's not your kind of thing, John, is it? But I think she's absolutely great. So I think I'm not going to let him talk over me for this bit. If you want to do that, guys, you go off and do it. We're going to ignore John's opinions on this. And I'm going to suggest that you go for a walk and watch the sunset and the sunrise.
You do that. That's fantastic. Meanwhile, I'll be baking because that's the next one. That's a good one. I'll do some elaborate baking and make some brandy snaps or something equally what's it called? Great British Bake Off-esque.
Yeah, that's one of your talents. So you're an excellent baker.
I just follow instructions.
I don't know, actually, because bread, you make a really good bread, and sometimes following the instructions for bread isn't the way to go.
Mm.
So you've made like great focaccia, really great. I mean, sourdough, you have a love-hate relationship with, but all the other breads you've made were top-notch. They were fantastic. And I think that takes a bit of skill, and I do think you've got a bit of skill when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's a great time to do some baking because, you know, quarantine's the time where everybody either gets skinny or gets a nice winter fur coat on.
Next one is write a short story or get started on that novel.
Yeah. You should definitely write one, John. But, you know, just to add on to this, I know that you all have books on your shelf that you've not read yet. Get some of them out as well.
Yeah, I should really do that with some of mine. Rearrange your sock drawer.
No. It just doesn't sound appealing.
Memorize the periodic table.
Fun things, guys. You need fun things. If you don't have fun things... Lego's great. I actually seen a building challenge, and I think that's a great thing to do. Give yourself a building challenge. Like, if you've got somebody else in the house with you during quarantine, and even if you don't, do it over video chat. Say, right, you can make your own Lego, egg cartons, cut them out individually, paint them, they can stack like blocks. It works, right? I teach children, I know these things.
I have a controversial opinion. I don't think Lego's the best. I always thought Connects was the best.
Oh, no.
Mainly because I could make a gun with it that actually fired the little green pellets.
Yeah, you were a teacher's worst nightmare, you.
Yes, I was. So to skip to the end then, the last one on that list I've seen is sleep. Get lots of it. That's a good idea.
It
catch
is.
up on all that sleep debt you've been building up over the last couple of years of working.
Yeah, and if you have the luxury to do that, that's great. But like someone like you, John, you're still getting up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to do work.
But I don't have to commute, so it is better. I am getting more time in bed, and I do feel a bit more rested. So every cloud has a silver lining.
Very, very much true.
We'll leave it there then, shall we?
Yeah, that's great. So we've shared a little bit about our quarantine stories, and John spoke a lot about what he has done during quarantine and things like that. So let us know. Let us know if you have got anything interesting that we can maybe try for quarantine, or things that you've been doing. And be safe, be happy, keep seeing.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.